the podium. As we have a look at the start list, these are the 8 that have made it through into the final for today's vault. They'll do 2 vaults each, and it will be the average of those 2 vaults, which is the final score that we see today. Good to see Marianne Dragulescu. He'll be competing in 6th place and in this World Challenge Cup. Very big moment for these gymnasts. So a lot of them will be absolutely delighted to have qualified for this final and will want to go out there and do a really good performance. But for some, it is all about the podium places. They need to do their absolute best.
From Russia. Andrei Kalny from Czech Republic. Dmitry Dimitrov from Bulgaria. Tomas Brasso from Italy. Marian Dragulescu from Romania. Ivan Tikhanov from Azerbaijan. And Abdulaziz Mirvaliev from Uzbekistan. 3 warm-up attempts for the first 4 athletes, please.
So as you can hear, the first 4 athletes can now warm up. They get 3 attempts each. They will have prepared and they'll know exactly what they want to do with those 3 attempts. They'll be really just getting the nerves at bay, getting the feel of the hall, getting the feel of the atmosphere. They will have already warmed up. They can't afford just to come out here and then start warming up. Behind the scenes, they will have all been doing their stretching, lots of visualization, and as I say, keeping those nerves at bay, really focused on the job in hand. They all have different ways that they like to prepare. Some like to listen to music before they come out here, like to stay in the zone. Others are very, very chatty and don't like to be on their own too much. They'll be getting last minute advice from coaches. Not that the coaches can do much now. It's all down to these gymnasts. He needs to be careful he doesn't do that on the day. The judge is actually very, very close to the vaulting board, and we did have a few yesterday in the women's event where they were slightly off alignment and got rather close to the judges. So really trying to get that feel. So when they do their vault, it will have an assigned degree of difficulty. And from that, the execution judges will give their score, which they are added together with the difficulty. And then an average is taken over the 2 vaults. Different gymnasts have different approaches really to the vault. Some like to go with their most difficult first and get that one out of the way. Others like to go with perhaps one that's slightly easier, that they are more confident on, just to help with the nerves and know that they've got one in the bag. That's a good score before they go into their second one. So when they start, there will be a very, very fast run up. It's 25 meters, getting as much power as possible. And the idea is to get as maximum spring, and then the arms must touch the vault with straight arms, and then judges will be looking at the flight on that. Looking forward in particular to seeing Marian Dragulescu, 40 years of age. He's won 31 medals at Olympic Games, World Championships, European Championships. He's already qualified for Tokyo as well, and has won World Championship golds on the floor and the vault. And here's the one I mentioned a little while back that has had the vault named after him in the code of points, and that will always be there. And he's very, very proud of that. That's a double tuck with half a twist.
Ladies and gentlemen, representing Ukraine, Nazar Chepurny.
So as you can hear, Nazar Chepurny from Ukraine, 18 years of age, first to go. Wow, and a great start from him. Good difficulty there. He won gold in the Junior World Championships back in 2019. And also at the Youth Olympics, he managed to get the silver. Very, very centered. They're aiming to finish on that middle line. They must make sure that the foot doesn't go outside of the lines. But yeah, took silver at the Youth Olympics, along with a gold in the mixed team. And that's something special that they do in the Youth Olympics. They put various nations together to compete as a mixed team. And he was lucky enough to get the gold in the mixed team that he was part of. And that's certainly one of his most memorable moments. He has plenty of people to look up to in Ukraine. His heroes, Oleg Varyev and Igor Radivillov, both very well known in the world of gymnastics and have inspired many, many over the years. Okay, so he now has the signal that he can do his second vault now. Very good. Nicely held there. In the qualifying, he finished fifth. His overall score was 14.125, and actually that was down to his second vault. His first vault was 13.650, so improved massively on the second one, but I think there was two very good vaults there. Important that the vaults are from two different groups. They're not supposed to repeat from that same group. Important to keep the legs together there. And he did do some clean landings. Not quite as centered on the second one, but still. A very, very good performance. He can relax a little bit now. He's certainly set the level as we move on to Sergei Krivanets, the 23-year-old from Russia. Oh dear, that's a shame. That's what I'm saying about the judges being very, very close. Nearly ended up on the table. It was good in the air, good flight. Power was good. Hit the vault well, but just couldn't control that, the landing. Legs together well, perhaps could have been a little bit straighter, but really bent those knees. And because of that, just lost his balance, almost like he hit the mat a little bit earlier than he was expecting. So he'll need to pull this back on his second vault. In qualifying, it was actually his first vault that was the strongest. That was a 14.9. Second vault, 13.950. But perhaps the tables will have turned this time. So he has to wait for a signal from the D1 judge before he can take his second vault. He's looking rather more relaxed as we see his score 14.70. That's a massive improvement from the qualifying rounds earlier. He did 14.125. Congratulations to him. Oh, that was much better. Very slight step back, but kept that front leg in place. So much power. And again, just that body a little bit too far forward on the that landing. Important to be very powerful as a vaulter. And actually with some of the apparatus it helps to be tall, whereas on the vault, small and stocky is good to really generate that power. As we see Andrei Kalny from Czechoslovakia, so the Czech Republic, 20 years of age. Again, misjudged that landing. He looks a little bit frustrated with himself, landing on those knees. He's going to have to pull this back. Kept the feet well together, didn't quite get those hips round enough, and I think that probably threw him just a little bit, so he was out of alignment. So naturally that affects the execution score, but the judges will be looking. They start at 10, and for small little execution errors it will be a 0.1 deduction, then a 0.3 for slightly larger, 0.5 for a big execution error. But now he knows that he really needs to focus. Good to see that the technical officials are a bit quicker than they were yesterday as he takes his run up. Oh, that was good. That was really good. And you can see the relief on his face. What a shame for him. The first one didn't quite go as planned, but certainly made up for it on his second vault. Brilliant. And that shows just what he is capable of. Qualified in third place with 14.350.
Representing Bulgaria,
And has come second. So that's 14.075 for Sergei Krivanets. As we move to Dimitrov from Bulgaria, 24 years of age. Nice. Nice. He qualified 7th. Score of 14.075. Also qualified in the floor event yesterday, so he took part in that final. That was a nice vault. So much power, just managed to control it at the end. Need to keep those arms nice and straight, get those hips round. So that's one under his belt. And 13.90 for Andre Kalny. So standing in the chalk, that helps to ensure no slipping. A lot of them use wrist supports, hand supports, as you can see. Really, that is just to protect, because so many of these gymnasts over the years have many, many injuries. They need to do everything they can to keep themselves safe. And obviously all the guidelines that are in place in the Code of Points ensure that happens as well. And here Dimitar Dimitrov goes for his second vault. Yep, good job from him. Finished 7th in the European Championships back in 2020 and has already taken a silver in a previous World Challenge Cup a couple of years ago. Has competed in 2 World Championships himself, but his score was 14.075 to qualify. So qualified in 7th place as we get another chance to look. Just the body a little bit too far forward, but still managed to control it. Quite a long way back on the vault. But overall, good job done, and a congratulations from the coach. So that's the first 4. We now have the warm-up for the next 4. So still to come, we have Thomas Grasso, Marianne Dragalisko, Ivan Tikhonov, who qualified in 1st place, and Abdulaziz Mirvalev. So they have 3 vaults each in their practice, while Dimitar Dimitrov has to just sit and wait and see where he is lying at the moment. Hopefully the scores won't take too long to come through. Yesterday there were a few little technical issues in the women's vault, but have to say the organisers doing a fantastic job here in Varna for this World Challenge Cup. It was fantastic yesterday to see Oksana Chozovatina in the vault. She didn't have her very best day. She's in her mid-40s and she's about to compete in her 8th Olympic Games. An absolutely amazing, sensational gymnast. And well, she had a few problems on the landings yesterday, but even though she's almost ended up sitting on the judges' table, well, she still managed to take a bronze medal, and that says an awful lot about the actual standard of the vaults that she was doing. Gold in the vault went to Colleen de Villard from France yesterday, so that was a very, very, very special moment for her, with Uliana Perebinosova taking the silver. So while they look at the final scores from the execution judges, aligned with the difficulty as well, before they come up with their final total as the average of the 2 vaults that we've seen. You can see the concentration. Such a big moment for a lot of these gymnasts. Many of them wouldn't have competed for a long time because of all of the situation with COVID. And so good to see so many that have qualified for Tokyo using this World Challenge Cup as an opportunity to get that competition experience again. And I have to say, the standard has been very, very good. And obviously their training has continued during this very, very difficult time.
Dear athletes, the warm-up is over.
Ladies and gentlemen, on the vault representing Italy, Thomas Grasso.
So first up, Thomas Grasso from Italy. Qualified 4th. So you can see the average for the 2nd vault as we wait the final scores for Dimitar Dimitrov. Certainly quite a long wait after the warm-up before that first vault. Yep, acknowledges. Oh, it was a very, very powerful run-up. Just couldn't quite control the ending there. I'm sure having a long wait doesn't particularly help some of these gymnasts. But really good height, good flight in the air, just unable to control it at the end. And that is so hard when you've put everything into it. I'd like to see the legs just a little bit straighter as well. And straight now into his 2nd vault. So he needs to regroup quickly. Looks so powerful there. Well, outside of the lines, didn't quite control the endings there. But I like the power he really showed on the run-up. Just needs to control that on the 2nd part of the vault. Good extension in the legs then. So So just a small deduction for going outside of the lines. 14.225. That's the score for Dimitar Dimitrov. And that's good enough to put him in second place at the moment, behind Nazar Japerny, who had a fantastic 14.70. Marian Dragulescu, next to go. Very solid. And well, that's what we expect from him. 31 medals at Olympics, World Championships and European Championships. He's won golds in the World Championships, 4 vault. Very well executed that. Legs really nice and straight. Kept the legs together. Brilliant first vault from him. There's Thomas Grasso, 13.675. Obviously affected by those the landings. Marian Dragulescu. His aim is gold in Tokyo. And then he says, well, he'll probably finish, which would be his second retirement. He's a motivational speaker as well. And really is an inspiration to so many other gymnasts. Very nice and steady. The Dragulescu vault is in the code of points. And that would be double tuck with a half turn at the end as well. "40 years of age and still competing at the very, very highest level on the world stage. Very solid as he hits the mat. Qualified in 6th place, 14.125. And certainly using this as an opportunity to get in competition experience before Tokyo. I mean, not many have won 8 gold medals and 2 silvers at a World Championships. Well, choosing the pike. Well, nearly hit the table there. Ivan Tikhonov, he qualified in 1st place, actually scored 14.950 for his first vault and 14.150 for his second vault, so an average of 14.550. But yeah, a bit deep on the landing. Had to be very, very careful. He didn't actually hit the table on the way back. So his average in the qualifiers was 14.550. Good day yesterday, finished 5th in the rings, but we'll be very much hoping for a podium place today. Has already qualified for Tokyo as we look at the score, 14.525. So that's significantly more than in qualifying and puts him in 2nd place at the moment. Good. Great speed on those twists to get it all in and look quite composed on the landing as well. Yeah, really nice execution. Just a little step at the end. nice and compact on those twists in the flight. Has he done enough to get on the podium today? So 5th yesterday. So currently first Nazir Chapernyi. Marianne Dragulescu currently in 2nd. Abdulaziz Mirvalev from Uzbekistan. Qualified 8th, but that was a really good start for him. He actually got the same score yesterday as Dimitar Dimitrov, but slightly less on the execution. Overall score 14.075. But that was well controlled. Finished 12th in the vault in the Youth Olympics in Buenos Aires back in 2018. And the same year was 8th in the vault in the Junior Asian Games. What can he do for his 2nd vault? Yeah, he didn't hit the center of the table there. You could see he was right over to one side, almost hit it diagonally, and that completely threw him. You're never going to land in the center of the mat if you can't get it right on the table. See here, just always on that diagonal, and completely then misjudging the timing. Just not enough room to get it all in. Left himself a lot to do, went for a difficult vault, but needed more height, needed more power off the table to be able to fit all of that in. 14.3. That's for Ivan Tikhonov, so that is 0.25 less than he got in the qualifiers when he was ranked 1st. So a little bit disappointing for him, but still at the moment strong enough to keep him in 3rd place. And he was just slightly ahead of Dimitar Dimitrov. As we just wait for the final scores for the vault in these World Challenge Cup. Good to see him qualifying for these finals. Well, he walked off as if he wasn't too happy, but let's wait and see what the final scores are. Naturally, he'll be disappointed with his 2nd vault. So the gymnasts go behind the scenes now and get ready for the award ceremony, which will be coming up very shortly. So we just await those final scores. And then we move into the uneven bars for the women. 14.050, so only just slightly, a fraction less than what he got in the qualifying rounds. So unofficially, I make it that gold goes to Nazar Chapernyi, 14.700. Second, Marianne Dragulescu, 14.525. And third, Ivan Tikhonov, 14.300. But we do need to wait for the official results, which hopefully will be put on our screen fairly shortly. And here we have confirmation. Ukraine, Nazar Chapernyi taking the gold. Marianne Dragulescu, the silver. And Ivan Tikhonov, the bronze. Very, very close for that bronze medal. Dimitar Dimitrov, what a shame for him, just missing out on that podium place, but still a good result for him. Deep in thought there.
Дами и господа, нека приветстваме шампионите на прескок.
Ladies and gentlemen, the awarding ceremony for men's vault begins.
And now we have the award ceremony for the men's vault at the World Challenge Cup here in Varna, Bulgaria.
Трето място и бронзов медал за представителя на Азербайджан Иван Тихонов.
Third place and bronze medal goes to Ivan Tikhonov, Azerbaijan.
Второ място и сребърен медал за представителя на Румъния Мариан Драгулеско.
Second place and silver medal goes to Marian Dragulescu, Romania.
И първо място и златен медал за представителя на Украина Назар Чепурнин.
And first place and gold medal goes to Nazar Chepurny, Ukraine.
Трето място на държава Кристиан Димитров, директор дирекция спорт на община Варна.
The third place will be awarded by Christian Dimitrov, the director of sports Varna.
So bronze to Ivan Tikhonov. He'll be back again later.
Second place will be awarded by Yutan Yovchev, the president of the local organizing committee.
Silver, Marian Dragulescu.
Awarded by Julio Marcos, FIG men's artistic gymnastics technical delegate. Please stand up.
And what an amazing result for Nazar Chepurny from Ukraine. Qualified in 5th place, 14.70. Well, what a very special moment there for Nazar Chepurny, just 18 years of age.